everyone, this is Angelica. Thank you for joining me on this video, which I'll talk about the harmful effects of caffeine. So you may not know about the harmful effects of caffeine because if you Google caffeine on the internet, it'll tell you that caffeine's actually good for you, or it has antioxidants in it, or it prevents cancer. Well, yes, eating antioxidants can help prevent cancer. However, caffeine and the way that it's processed and produced and served to you cannot. So there's a lot of myth behind the caffeine culture, and it's because 90% of American adults consume caffeine in order to get through their day. You often feel that you need caffeine because you have so much to do. And in this high-paced, high-stress society, it's really easy to get caught up in a caffeine addiction. So I wrote a blog detailing my experience with caffeine, what I was experiencing before I stopped, what the withdrawal symptoms were like, and also how I feel now being 5 weeks without caffeine. And it definitely has been a process and a struggle. It has not been an easy thing to do at all, because I think I had a lot of fear of not being able to get things done if I stopped caffeine. I've stopped caffeine many times in the past, but not for too long. I think it's only been a couple weeks, and then I would start drinking green tea, thinking, that was fine. And, we always go into a little bit of denial with these things because our mind is saying, oh, we need it to keep moving forward. So I've never really gone, I don't think, this long, and if I have, I haven't noticed the entire process so clearly so that I could demonstrate it to you and tell you about the things that I've noticed it's done to my body. For one thing, it makes you feel really unsettled and very anxious all the time. It's like there's an underlying anxiety, a feeling of not being at rest. Another thing caffeine does is it doesn't allow you to go into the fourth stage of sleep, of deep, deep, deep sleep. So you're kind of like in the first 3 stages of sleep. And the fourth stage of sleep is where your body actually regenerates itself and can heal. One of the biggest things I had was muscle pain. My muscles kind of always ached, and I thought it was from exercising, but it actually wasn't. It was from caffeine. And I had a lot of pain only on my right side. So it would be in my right shoulder, my right side of my neck, my right ear, and I would start to clench my teeth at night, which would create jaw pain as well, only on my right side. What I've read is some people get it on their left side and some people get it on the right. I don't know. So whatever caffeine does there is it definitely is affecting the brain. It definitely shoots adrenaline out into your body. So you're in a constant state of fight or flight. Now, if you're on a spiritual path, or if you meditate, or if you're really wanting to be in the now moment and be calm and be present and be still, caffeine can really interfere with that because it does take you outside of your body, and it will make you stress and worry about things that aren't real. So I noticed I got a lot done on coffee and caffeine and green tea. However, those things weren't done fully, and they weren't done in full joy because I was kind of scattered. I was moving around at such a fast pace doing all these things, but not really being present and enjoying what I was doing. And this is a big wake-up call. And I think, when we come out of doing something and really take a look and have awareness on what we're doing, it's only then that we recognize it. We don't recognize it when we're in it. We don't recognize it when we're actually doing the thing that you were so used to doing, So my biggest problem with quitting caffeine was, how am I going to have any energy to do anything? Like, what's going to happen? Everything's going to fall apart and crumble, if I can't be there to do stuff. But that my assumption was completely wrong. Actually, everything got done, and in a much more harmonious way, in a much more fulfilling and stable way. So I'm going to talk about the withdrawal symptoms in my blog. I won't go into detail here, but I just want to tell you that even with all the withdrawal symptoms, even with me sleeping 12 hours a day for a while there, even with all of that, everything magically got done because the universe operates in that way. When we let go and we surrender, and when we have faith and trust in our own abilities and in the universe's abilities to take care of us, things just happen. And if you're taking care of your body and your health, then you're doing the right thing for your soul. And in that, you will be taken care of. And sometimes, you don't have to figure it all out. You don't have to figure out the hows and the whys. Our mind is so crazy sometimes, and caffeine makes it times 100. So if we just let all that go and we surrender and we're in the moment with ourselves and we're healing ourselves and we're taking care of ourselves and we're being grounded, then all the rest of everything will just kind of take its course and will fall into place for us. We don't have to know how it's all going to work out, but it does. It always does if you're doing the right thing for yourself. So why did I quit caffeine? I quit caffeine because I noticed that I just wasn't feeling fully good and I didn't really know why, and you've already eliminated all the other options. And when you've done that and caffeine's the only thing left, then you really realize that's what has to go. And also I was just really concerned about why were my muscles always stressed? And I can tell you that about a week after quitting caffeine, all my muscles relaxed. That on top of taking magnesium, because magnesium is something that is deficient in most people's bodies. You might want to Google magnesium as well, and I also talked about it a little bit in my blog, so you can understand, a little more about that. But magnesium also helped to make my muscle pain go away. Caffeine leaches out magnesium from the body. Actually, caffeine leaches out a lot of things from the body: vitamins, minerals, natural energy supply. It's just all around not good for you. But why do so many people drink it? Because it's really, really hard to quit. And if you work in a high stress job, or if you are at a school and you have to study and be able to think, you're not going to be able to for a few weeks. That's just the way it is. And another thing is if you look up caffeine online and how long it takes to feel better, it'll say 3 days, you'll get a headache, and then you'll feel better in a few days. That's just not true. It takes at least 2 months, maybe longer. I read some things where people experience, 6 months down the road still having some complications. Now, if you eat a really clean diet, if you eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, and you take really good care of yourself and you get enough sleep, 2 months max, you should start feeling yourself again. That on top of taking some supplements to restore the vitamins and minerals that caffeine has taken out of your body. Another thing I noticed is that I had a really, really bad lower back pain, and I thought it was from running, but actually it was my adrenal glands. So adrenaline's pumped out of your adrenal glands when you drink caffeine, and it puts you into a fight or flight constantly. So, being in fight or flight and being in constant stress is not conducive to being calm and in the now moment. So it's probably one of the biggest reasons that people have such a hard time being in the now moment, and not thinking too much. It's a lot to carry, So if you could even stop caffeine for a little while to give yourself that 2-month break and see all the magical benefits that it brings you, I would highly, highly recommend that. The book that I read is called Caffeine Blues, and it took me a really long time to find that book because, like I said, there is not a lot of information out there when you Google it. And we all know why that is. And, there'll probably be those people who comment under this video who, are really opposed to, people that think caffeine is really bad for you. But I have personal experience that it not only creates, it intensifies any kind of mental illness. Man, it just makes you worry about everything all the time. And letting it go, although it's a process and it really, really takes a long time and a long time for your stress hormones to get back to normal. So if you're a woman and you have PMS, or if you've had postpartum depression, which I had with all 3 of my kids, and it wasn't depression, it was more like mania. Like I was just on hyper alert all the time, and I've always kind of had a problem with that. It's gotten way, 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 way better. Even with the caffeine, but taking away the caffeine is kind of like the last thing to kind of really settle into my own inner being. And it hasn't been easy. It has not been easy. It's been hard because, well, it's been my mind unraveling. I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I've got to be able to feel good so that I can do all these things, but all those things get taken care of anyway. They really do. And then you get to be with yourself and you get to rest. And in the beginning, I was sleeping like 12 hours a day for a couple weeks. Your body just needs to rest sometimes. And then you come back into balance and everything evens out. So I'm not going to talk too much more about it. The blog really sums up the exact things that I went through, what I was experiencing before the withdrawal, and how I feel now. So that should give you a good idea of everything. But I just want to tell you that even though I don't feel 100% yet, and I still feel a little slow, and sometimes my memory is not working very well, I would not change it for anything in the world, because what has been gifted to me is so much peace and so much calmness that I never thought that I could have. Because like I said, you don't know what you're missing out on until you try it. You don't know that you're not as calm as you could be until you try it. And even my kids are noticing a huge difference. They're so happy. They know that I'm so calm now. So I would definitely try it. In that book, it gives you a program of how you can wean yourself off of caffeine so that you don't get the withdrawal symptoms. I'm not sure if that actually works. I just stopped completely, but I did start taking the supplements that he recommends, because he helps train Olympic athletes so that they can perform at their best, at their highest peak. And there's certain supplements that you take that help with caffeine withdrawal as well, to get your body feeling better so that you can start doing some form of physical exercise on a daily basis, because that's really important. Yeah, so that's it. That's all I have to say about the caffeine and it having a really harmful effect on the body. But read the blog, and I love you all, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.